Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. LCK Spring 2020. I'm Atlas. I am joined by LS as Genji cruise towards a game number 2 with probably another advantage, I would say.
Yeah. They are going to probably go into this series, and again, it's hard for me to imagine a world where Hanwha Life somehow figure out a way to pull a rabbit out of a hat and win game number 2 here, because even in game number 1, when things were going their way, they just couldn't really manage to do anything with it, and Genji, like they've done many, many times throughout the split, remained pretty steadfast in their approach, eventually let the scaling come online for their team composition, and slowly but surely ended up edging out Hanwha Life in that game number 1. So we'll see who gets the player of the game for that first set, as and we're going to move into the ban pick, Atlas.
Do you want to know a fun stat? We do need to. I need to add a little bit of a preface here, as Kimball just alerted me to the lowest kill game, and it was between KSV and Rox Tigers. Of course, Genji, formerly KSV, and Hanwha Life, formerly Rox Tigers. So this is the optimal game, and this is the optimal player. BDD gonna join Chovy at 1,100 points here, as BDD was, yeah, he was great. There's really nothing to complain about this game.
Yeah, he had a lot of stuff going right for him, and like I was talking about at the end of the last game, he was the most stable. This was that super Shurima shuffle that hit everyone except for Vista. He did end up dying in it, but his legacy did live on, unlike Shurima, as Hanwha Life struggled to really find their footing very end of the game, but Atlas, you do know what this means. It means that we have to execute
Order 66?
Operation PC.
Okay, what does that mean?
Protect Chovy.
Aha! All right, so now, who's getting it?
Not BDD. Never again.
All right, we'll give it to Glib. And then if people say, well, it's obviously BDD, we're like, oh, but I mean, they look like brothers. I guess we just chose the wrong, like that. As there were a couple of votes over to Ruler. This is something that I was somewhat assuming based on where the observers went in their highlights, and you can see Jonah Strong voted for Ruler, so you saw what he was thinking. But BDD certainly deserving it. And we are going to have a substitution here, as Tempt is out and Lava is coming into that mid lane.
Lava coming in, and Lava's been sort of all around so far here a little bit, as originally he was slated to play AD carry. Now he's coming back out here as a substitution in this match against Genji to play mid, and this is going to be do or die for them. And I wonder what Lava maybe has in store, why they would be swapping out Tempt, because it felt like Tempt was actually the best performing player in game number 1.
Absolutely. He might have, it might have taken a bit of a hit to his mentality, though, perhaps. Maybe this is like, I'm too frustrated. Please allow, Lava to come in and see what he can do. That might be where their heads are at. Otherwise, I don't really understand why you would sub him out. As here we are in the ban and pick for game number 2. Gen.G on our blue side now, wondering what their first pick options are going to be. I really liked what Hanwha did with the first pick Taric. It just didn't quite work out in the end.
Well, see if Genji now can manage to get their hands on the Kalista, as Aphelios and Senna do bite the dust here in game 1.
Yep, Vista a pretty good center player, and Aphelios player, actually. So, not going to see either of them, as Set is going to be banned here on the blue side by Gen.G. Hanwha Life thinking about where they want to go, as Kalista is going to be taken off the board, and I would assume something like a Varus might come in here. We'll just have to see.
Set being taken off the table as well. And really, I mean, there's still champion picks like Ornn that are still up and available. Yuumi getting banned away, so perhaps thinking that maybe Hanwha Life would try to do something like Ezreal Yuumi, perhaps, or Misfortune Yuumi.
Also just banning it away from Lehens because he's good at the champion. Gen.G going to find the Varus button most likely here, as the other 3 AD carries that certainly have picked up the limelight have been taken away. Genji can be flexible, though, as They do have Ruler, who's a very good Ezreal player, good Misfortune player, so not too worried about where the AD carry pool is going to be going. And for that reason, they're going to pick up the Jarvan instead.
Well, we'll see if they pair it with Rumble or anything of that nature. As Hanwha Life, they're hovering the Varus right now. We'll see if they do end up locking it in. Could just be 80 jungle. That is the standard response on R1, R2. And Rek'Sai is a peculiar pick.
That is Lava gunning for a Zoe pickup here. Genji, I think, almost need to pick up AD carry and Zoe. But it is going to be the Ornn instead. And it might be that Ruler's champion pool is going to get hit. But Hanwha Life are definitely going to pick Zoe next. I feel like Rek'Sai Zoe is just too strong. Not to take away, right?
Well, we'll see if they do want to take it. I mean, it would be a nice spot for it. They might do something. Okay, well, they pick the MF. And the AD carry champion pool is actually still pretty healthy. You had the Misfortune, you had the Ezreal still available. Other less traditional AD carries that are still also, able to be picked up, like Ashe and whatnot, are still there. So it's pretty hard to pinch. But looks like Zoe is not going to come through. Hanwha Life now probably going to ban it away, given that Zoe, when piloted correctly, is actually favored against the LeBlanc in isolation. And Genji's team composition is just really scary right now. They're actually, Hanwha Life, banning away the Galio. Genji, they have to decide what kind of bans they want to do. Probably should just be focused at, well, okay, there's the Sylas. We're going to say top side to just ensure protection of the Ornn. Another ban that they could end up doing would be Gangplank, but the thing here is,
let's be real.
It could also be Aatrox. You don't really care if Cuvee gets his hands on a mechanically intensive champion that has to be Ornn, because it's just not going to happen.
Although his Sylas was impressive in one of his games, so I like the respect ban. Taric is going to be taken away here just to make sure that Lehens is going to be as uncomfortable as possible. And we'll see what is actually going to be opted in for here. Varus and the Braum looking very standard. As Nautilus is going to come out here paired with, I hope, something like a Kassadin. What do you think?
Well, I do think that I would really like a mage support down in bottom.
Ooh,
as
the Zoe is going to be picked.
She is being hovered. And a mate that's not, I mean,
pseudo mage.
It's
pseudo
fine.
mage engage.
Great.
Rakan has a Q, remember? The Gleaming Quill.
Ooh, Kale.
Okay. Oh,
So
there's the Kale.
Here's the thing. Kale, honestly, I was never expecting this in a million years. But the Kale's coming in, but she's off theme with the LeBlanc. She's off theme with, well, I don't want to say that she's inherently off theme with the Rek'Sai. She's just very out of place with the rest of her teammates. There's no way for Kale to reliably auto-attack this Gen.G team composition if a fight actually breaks out, because LeBlanc is going to be trying to do smoke and mirror stuff. Zoe is going to be making everyone run for their hills. Varus, I can't imagine that he would be lethality. And so it's really hard for Hanwha Life to actually go close quarter combat. And even if the Kale outscales Ornn, in a vacuum, I don't think it's the best kind of a pick here. And so it's really interesting to see them try it.
I think it's exactly what you're saying. I think it was picked in a vacuum to try and win out the lane in some theoretical way. But I think you're right with the fact that it doesn't necessarily fit. It does have, like, the invulnerability, that sort of thing, might actually be important moving into this game. You can, of course, protect yourself against Zoe bubbles and stuff like that. If the paddle star's coming in, then you just put the ultimate down. But you don't want to be using it defensively. You want to get some damage out. So, yeah, a little bit of a wonky draft here from Hanwha. But if they get ahead, I mean, my God, they are going to be able to snowball. It's just against Gen.G's comp that looks so standard and rock solid. It's going to be a tough ask here for Hanwha.
Well, we'll see what they can manage to do with it here in game number 2, because it's going to be pretty do or die. And this time, Hanwha Life don't have the early and mid game bridge that they're going to be able to rely on in terms of their team composition. It's going to be a much harder ask for them to somehow go toe-to-toe with Genji here.
Yeah, going to be a tough game, but it all has to come out on the Rift, guys. You are going to be treated to the B2D. Zoe, oh, I'm scared. I mean, the PC might be tough this game because B2D Zoe is very impressive and often does flashy plays. So, I don't know, man. This could be dicey.
Well, Zoe is clearly getting her exercise on. And, you know, LeBlanc, I mean, likewise, she carries around that staff all day long, and you really have to imagine that she is definitely in shape.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Even Ornn, he might look like a portly gentleman, but he waddles a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that forge doesn't fire up itself. I'll tell you that
true.
much.
Mm-hmm. And you know that Life is, of course, a definite gym junkie.
Right. I mean, his appearance right now, it might look like he's donning some silk or something along that lines, but it's actually secretly chainmail. So
yeah, I like it.
You know,
not a bad win rate. 88% on this Rakan. Looking to move it to a perfect 90 with a win here. Wouldn't be too bad, as Vista going to take a double up to the face. Not exactly optimal.
We take a look at all of the runes across the board. And BDD is sinning a little bit with the Scorch on the Zoe. Not going to take the Gathering Storm, even though, obviously, when you're drafting Ornn, you have MF, Rakan, etc., you're not thinking about just inherently winning early.
No,
it does have it in the laning phase with the Aerie, so lots of poke able to come out in that regard. Also, Cleanse versus the Ignite, so Lava not going to have the teleport. And all the pressure this game on the side of Hanwha Life, it's inside of the Kayle. First dragon of the game is Infernal, which, you know what that means, Alice. We could just potentially get another Cloud Soul. Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. There is no doubt in my mind that is happening. Yeah. It's going to go Mountain into Cloud. As we're going to hear from B2D, heading straight to finals is not our goal. Our goal is to improve our performance and win LCK. I like it. Not aiming for the first place necessarily. And I actually think that that's okay. I mean, oftentimes our teams that are first place in the regular season don't actually win because they don't get to play the game on a stage like this for a really long time. Because you're waiting until the finals before you get to play again. So it's interesting sort of how the mindsets can go as Clid is looking for Vista, goes inside the wall for a moment. As Vista is going to flash and use his barrier in order to escape. So successful gank already here for Clid's Jarvan.
Does manage to get a lot of value down in bot lane. Haru going to respond by taking the right-hand side scuttle crab. Clid going to start up the golem camp. And
pretty good win rate so far on this Jarvan, as you can see.
I mean, we were here when Clid did lose.
Yeah, that was to DRX,
time.
Right?
Yeah. So that did end up happening. First pick here for Haru, first pick here for Cube. It's been a very long time since we have seen Kayle have much success.
I think last I saw of the Kayle was like Noggery playing it at Worlds or something like that.
Or yeah, Worlds was when Kayle was also getting picked.
Interesting. Gonna have a look at Clid going back home again. He's gonna look to clear his top side, maybe move towards the Rift Scuttler. See what he can do there, as now it's gonna be Haru's turn down towards the bottom side. This minion wave being dealt with, but Rule a bit frustrated with the amount of minions that he's actually been able to take down. You can see that Vista is going towards the more attack speed based variant of this Varus. We'll see how many auto attacks he can actually get down in a team fight. As Hanwha in a fair bit of control, but nothing really to worry about as far as bottom lane pressure is concerned if you're a Gen.G fan.
In 10 seconds until the Infernal Dragon will end up spawning. It shouldn't be on either person's agenda right away. Clid, in this team composition, able to function on lower economy than the Rek'Sai. The Rek'Sai needs to remain more relevant than the Jarvan at the later stages because, again, so much pressure on the Kayle in the later stages of this game to carry. So Rek'Sai needs to have econ, needs to have some sort of value in the early and mid stages of the game, because otherwise it's going to end up being very, very similar to the Elise. And when that ends up happening, things do just get a bit rough. As
Lehen's holding the wave. There's the grand entrance. Bit of damage will come down, but unbreakable. One hell of an ability there for Lehen's, but still loses half of his health bar. His Vista is going to turn up again. Has his Berserker's Greaves now. The extra movement speed out of the way of the Rakan.
And Rascal up here, level 6, doing a really good job, at least in the CS department, but lane is sort of occurring the way that one would expect. You can see Ruler and Life, they wanted to recall, but the wave didn't crash smoothly. Or maybe this was all actually just, they were feigning it.
A cunning ruse.
Yeah, there it is. That's exactly what's happening. As they're really low on mana. Now, they are standing pretty close to Hanwha Life, and you have to know this is coming, because Haru, Lava, making their way over. Cube doesn't have teleport. This is, okay, well.
Well, as an unbreakable, it's pretty good ability, as Lehen's is going to move all the way out of here. Exhaust comes down as the Varus is going to be taken. Lehen's going to flash. Should be able to keep himself alive there, as Life did a great job making sure that he tanked everything up. Held the exhaust there for Lava as well. I believe it was the hijacked one, but somehow is going to fall down there. He was very, very low, but I thought he made it out. As First Blood does go over to Gen.G, but Hanwha Life do trade back pretty nicely, and Cube given a whole lot of space on the top side. That is not how Gen.G wanted that to go.
No, that dive was not as ideal for Gen.G as they probably could have hoped for. BDD just going for a trade here, utilizing that Ignite before it would end up running out. Also has another parcel to end up picking up here off that minion. Honestly, Zoe is really rude when you think about it. You know, she kills the minion in order to steal away their balloon.
Yeah.
And reminds me of Pennywise, but...
Reminds me of Mario Kart.
Yeah, that too. So, Rascal gets his all-interrupted life, whiffs on the knockup, and that's really bad, because in a world where you 1-2 punch Lehen's and Vista, you then have another minion wave, you're going to convert into a lot of turret plates. Ignite, the damage can't be stopped. Yeah, by exhaust, cannot be reduced, and so Ignite damage comes out, deals true, and I wasn't paying attention to see if Life had refillable potions that maybe he just wasn't activating, because that happens a lot. People forget to spam the potions, but perhaps just didn't actually have any available. At the end of the day, Genji, they're ahead ever so slightly in the gold department, but Kale up there in the top lane is getting to coast for free. And I think Kale is building... Well, we'll have to see if it's going to be Blade of the Ruin King, which would be... The interaction is once she goes ranged, it would lose the new changed value that it has.
I think Gunblade is still a good item on the Kale.
Gunblade into Nashers.
Yeah, likely to be where Cube is going to go, but we'll have to see. We'll see where he fits the Rage Blade into the build as well. Certainly a favorite on the Kale. But Hanwha Life are going to start off this Infernal Drake. It's going down relatively slowly as Rek'Sai does finally make her way over. And they will be able to lock this one down. So Gen.G losing out on the first Drake, much like they did in game number 1, sacrificing any sort of Drake take that time around as well. As you can see, Cube up here towards the top side, just going to get burnt down a little bit, but able to trade back very nicely there as the turret. Okay, Rascal might be in trouble here, as he'll have Searing Charge available relatively soon, but not just yet, as Clid coming on over. Cube having a good time up here on the top side as this Kale, and does have the ultimate just lying in wait in case anything goes wrong. BDD roaming over the top of a control ward, as there's the Ornhorn, and the flash comes out from Cube. Make sure he stays alive.
And Zoe not going to be able to do anything. Not a sizable enough minion wave. Cube way too healthy. Bubble would end up landing, and then before Cube would go to sleep, would just cast the Kale ultimate. No damage would be able to be followed up, and pretty hard to kill the Kale at that point. So Hanwha Life, they have the Infernal Dragon right now. Mountain's coming up second, which is a nice
I already told you what's happening.
Oh, okay.
There's the ultimate out of Vista, lands max range, but Ruler is going to flash, but concussive blows are going to come in, and he's unable to cleanse in time as Lava turns up as well, and that should be a dead life down here on the bottom side as double kill comes through. 3-0-0 here for Lava in his debut game of the series, and certainly giving us an idea as to why he was subbed in. His LeBlanc's always been pretty good, but he's having a standout performance so far this game.
No, he's having a really good game here. 3 kills already on the LeBlanc, keeping up in, well, actually even ahead in the CS department by exactly 1.
Yeah.
As this LeBlanc is pretty massive right now. So the wave down in bottom, it was coming into Ruler and Life, but they're so far up inside of the lane. You know that your Zoe had just ended up rotating to top lane, failing to secure anything. So Lava crashed in the wave in mid. There was no vision.
당장은 힘들어요, 형. 오케이, 그냥 이러면 빨리 밀고 빠져.
바텀 지금부터 싸우면 좋은데. 지금부터 쌍각 봐봐.
Go fight now, go fight now.
쌍각 봐. 잡을 것 같아. 잡았어.
I got her.
아, 괜찮아. 형이 잡았어.
라카 노플 한번 더.
렛츠 기어리. 아, 조이 집이야.
Did they say get it?
집중.
I don't know what that was saying. Yeah.
I
We're
assume
waiting.
it was get it because they've been watching a lot of What's Up Man. Have you watched What's Up Man before?
No.
It's like a Korean, I don't know, like a variety show type thing, where this like ex K-pop star goes around and like just does stuff. It's
Okay.
cool.
Great. Thank you for that, Alice. As Rift Herald.
You're welcome.
Summoned up here in top lane. 2 minutes until Mountain will be on the menu. Rascal actually did not cancel the knockup with a Bella's Breath.
He's holding on to that one.
Gonna get all the turret plates up here. Also trying to get first turret of the game. Orn Ram does not actually clear out the minion wave, contrary to many people's beliefs. Does not deal that much damage to the minions. So minions do all go down. Haru is gonna take another hit. And Cuvee up here just continuing to scale for free. Build Order Cutlass already complete. Gonna be Hextech Revolver next. As you can see, Rascal moving underneath this turret. Now, he doesn't have his ultimate available. Cast his Q a bit early, although he does have W max. And so he will... Okay, missed one. So I'm not impressed.
Yeah.
Take it away, Atlas.
Yeah, that's a whoopsie. I will happily take it away. As Life is going to be able to take down this control ward. As you can see, Gen.G actually falling behind when it comes to the gold. It's all about Lava. This guy has now the mid game to take control of, and he's beaten BDD towards the Luden's Echo, and is now put him in the chain, but not going to let that one proc as the bubble was headed his way, and decided to go back on that distortion. But Gen.G probably still not too worried about how this game is going. They're waiting for those ornaments to come in, waiting for Ruler to have control of this game as the chains do go wide. And Lava is still able to win out on these fights. BDD in trouble, does have the cleanse and the flash. Distortion not going to register the damage as the Ignite is going to tick down and not actually pick up the kill. So close, but no cigar there.
Yep, BDD did use the cleanse and the flash. Tried to use the cleanse, I think, initially for the Nimbus Cloak. And now at the end of this, going to end up resetting. Lava not going to be able to reset, though. So BDD, even though he doesn't have the Luden's Echo coming off of this reset, Mountain Dragon is in 10 seconds. Rascal does not have teleport available for it. Rascal does have teleport available for it, as does Cuvee. And a bit of Build-A-Rare Workshop up there on Rascal. Probably going to be the Abyssal Mask first.
Yeah, we'll see when he can build that one.
Yeah.
He's going back home now. We'll have that teleport available like you were talking about, and Gen.G do want to clear out this vision around the Mountain Drake that I believe may have been started. No, not quite yet. As Ruler going to be taking the bottom Krug camp. Clid and Life over here will get rid of this last remaining control ward towards the top side of the river, and Gen.G have managed to turn around all of the vision control that Hanwha Life had for themselves. Ruler will turn up, and now Gen.G trying to get into position as Life going to find the grand entrance onto Lava. Bullet time does come in as there's the kill. BDD locks that one down. The Drake's still being fought as Lahen's going to go down to Clid. And now this is a big one. The Dragon is taken there by Hanwha Life. That's good news. But they're going to lose out on this team fight very, very, very much. As Haru not going to get hit by the bubble, but the blue buff will be stolen, and Gen.G are going to continue their aggression as they go forward underneath this turret. Cuvee does have ultimate still available. But there are 5 members of Gen.G now just waiting for this minion wave. They're going to pile this one up. And now Cuvée trying to get as much DPS down as he possibly can. Searing Charge lying in wait to try and get that extra bit of CC.
And you can see Braum trying to run down as fast as he can, but look at all that damage!
Yeah, exactly. Cuvée pops the ultimate on himself as now Haru is in here. The first kill will go down, but only 2 of them picked up before he dies. Now Lehens is going to jump on in as BDD gets his gun out. And he's going to shoot the Braum to make sure he doesn't turn up. But there's the ulti out of Haru. That's going to lock down 2. Can it be 3? As he gets the knock up onto Clid, he'll be stunned as Lava jumps on over. Clid's going to taxi to him, but that's going to be the ace. And Hanwha turn it all around. That dive, not what you wanted.
No, they tried to dive the Kayle. They did it in a really sloppy manner. So we take a look at this team fight here. And Lava, he tries to go in and burst life. And honestly, in a different world, he absolutely does get away with it. But really big shutdown being given over. Clid follows over, ends up killing the Braum. The Dragon reset, but didn't regen enough HP to interrupt the capture of it. Vista goes down immediately thereafter, and then we cut to this dive, which was, honestly, it was pretty donkalicious. So the minion wave never ends up going in. They go on to the Kayle, but Ruler, having flash, just gets sat on by Kayle, and everyone just ends up going down. It ends up being an ace in the favor of Hanwha Life, and a really catastrophic series of events because Kayle got so much gold in this whole sequence.
Yeah.
And Kayle, I mean, even if she is off theme in the later stages, this LeBlanc is massive. Kayle, level 12 now. Things are getting more and more problematic. It's a 2,500 gold lead for Hanwha Life. Ocean coming up next. I mean, that's a perfect dragon roll for Hanwha Life. We'll see what they can manage to do with that. I mean, the ornaments will help in mitigating some of the advantage that Hanwha Life has right now, but things are going to really need to turn around because otherwise, looks like Hanwha are in a pretty comfortable position.
Yeah, really prime. 2,500 gold is going to be the lead here. As, yeah, it has the Stinger available moving towards the Nashers like you were talking about. And Gen.G are going to need a whole lot more ornaments this game than what they were probably expecting to need as they were going into this. Because game number 1 was a wash, almost from the draft for Gen.G based on how their early game went. And we've got a tower falling down on the top side. I think this was Shirley's doing. So we're having a look at the total gold. It's not a blowout. It's not over yet or anything like that, as Gen.G will take down the bottom outer. Life going to move on in here as the chains do connect. Grand Entrance gets Life over the edge, who had the cleanse from the Unsealed Spellbook. Now going to get back his exhaust. And Shirley pops up in the mid lane. She wasn't actually utilized topside at all, as that whole minion wave is going to go begging. And Hanwha Life are snowballing this really, really nicely, as Shirley will get a second charge onto this inner turret.
Yeah. Ends up almost being able to raise it even, as that turret is 1 auto attack away from death. So it'll be a nice pickup for Hanwha Life next time they're able to just get around to auto attacking it or even breathing on it at that point. Should just manage to fall over, but there is still standing turret gold for Gen.G to pick up pretty easily as, okay.
Yeah, Lava is scary.
Yeah. Lava, nice. 50 seconds until Ocean. And Kayle, not sure if she will have the Nashers complete. Recalls into a Fiendish Codex, so that should put Kayle actually at around 3 minutes away, most likely, from Nashers completion. So this is potentially going to be the closest that Gen.G are in terms of core item completion. And even though Hanwha Life have more gold, in terms of on-field battle presence, Gen.G aren't that far behind by any means.
They're not too worried about it, but they're still going to have to win a team fight here. And they do have tools, right? They have the Ornn, they have the Rakan, both of them being fantastic as far as setting up team fights. And Ruler, if he gets good bullet time, will be able to change the face of this. Just have to see what BDD can do as far as getting the bubbles in order, landing them on the key targets, and taking someone out of this fight early. As the Ocean Drake is now live. Gen.G would love to just start stacking up Ocean Drakes. And Hanwha, they'd love to just get themselves towards an Ocean Soul at potentially 30 minutes into this game. But right now, Gen.G moved back over towards the top side. And oh, there's the fight. Ornhorn comes down. Cube has to ult himself instantly. As now Ruler in trouble. Vista's going to be able to lock down that kill as Cube is already back up to half health. And now Lehens is flashing after Gen.G. This is not the fight that Gen.G were looking for as they take the blast cone to get to relative safety. But Ruler being eradicated instantly means that this should be a free soul point for Hanwha Life.
Yeah, this is absolutely going to be a soul point, and that was, I mean, I didn't know Leroy
That was
Jenkins.
a choice you could make.
That was absolutely a choice that Clid did not need to make. I have no idea why. So many times teams will do this. They don't recognize that the opponent's team composition can't come into them. That was the thing that we outlined even inside of the draft, is that it's very difficult for the LeBlanc, Varus, Rek'Sai, and Kayle to kite inwards towards Gen.G. So Zoe should be the one always trying to start up the team fight just via the bubbles. And if she misses, that's okay. Wait a couple of seconds, throw another one over and over and over. If Hanwha Life get impatient and try to jump into you, then your Ornn ultimate is going to be activated and whatnot. This was donkalicious all around, because Clid, he goes in for an engage and he baits his whole team into death. It really was Leroy Jenkins. I mean, Jarvan probably was Pellet, you know?
Yeah, Leroy Jarvankins.
I love it.
Yeah, that's look, I don't know whether I'll use that as my... It's not the best one. Is Haru's going to die. He's going to go into his stopwatch just to waste some time, and use his ultimate to waste some more time, and then die. And now, Lehens, he's probably going to be all right. He's regenning with his Ocean Dragon for now. 3.5 minutes. It's not like Gen.G can go towards a Baron or anything like that, so no harm, no foul, really, but Haru can't be getting caught out of position like that.
Nope. Shutdown available on the Kayle as well. That should be a high priority target. Rascal almost going to be level 13. He will get his ornament upgrades.
Cube is a big boy.
What
He's
item?
quite scary.
Yeah. Could end up getting at this point. Even picking up Bramble Vest really does help for either Jarvan or Ornn in these team fights, because of the Kayle and the Varus.
Not to mention the fact that Kayle will pick up the Grievous Wounds from a Bramble Vest just by hitting stuff sort of inherently, with the fact that you do sort of that AoE damage. So I don't mind that at all. Currently, Gen.G are sitting 3,000 gold behind, though, and Hanwha Life are just traveling in this game very, very nicely. That conversation about scaling that we have so often you look at a team and it's like, does it have Ornn? Well, they're the scaling team. But now with a Kayle on the roster, as well as a DPS Varus that does scale very well into the late game as far as DPS potential, not to mention Lava being a step ahead of where a LeBlanc could be at this stage of the game, certainly does bode well here for Hanwha. As we're going to go into sepia mode for a moment. Not entirely sure what this is. We will get word from our producer as to what's going on here. And I had a bit of a stream stall, which was pretty odd. As we're sitting at, like, what's happening? Are we okay? Are you still there?
I'm not here. This is an automated recording.
Oh. Okay. Hey, automated recording. How are you?
Please connect your Amazon Prime account.
As we go back, yeah. So we were just sitting on that pause screen for like the longest of times, and I was like really scared that like maybe LOL Park had like just completely gone dark or something like that. I don't know. Thankfully, it seems like we're fine. Haven't heard from our producer or the back room just yet as to what's been going on. But yeah, just a little bit of a pause. A bit of a ping issue from Lava, I think, is what we're getting word on. So we'll just make sure that we sort his internet out and then get back into this game.
Well, it does give us a bit of an opportunity here to have the most important part of the broadcast, the Pog State.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been a while.
It has. We did film a new episode on Saturday, guys. That should be coming out just before Wednesday's games.
Oh, 2 days.
Yeah, and we did some predicting. And I think we actually predicted perfectly so far. I know we predicted an APK 2-1, and that came through.
DRX, we said 2-0, I think.
I think you might be right.
Unfortunate.
So they're going to be down a point. I didn't actually keep my notepad where I wrote everything down, so I won't be able to go and check. But I think so far things are looking pretty similar to what we were expecting.
Yeah.
As we're moving into what will be our final 2 days coming up after this. I can't believe the regular season's almost over already. It's insane.
I know.
Phew. Time flies when you're having fun or when you're social distancing.
There is a total of 6 casting days left. That's it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What do you mean? As in, like, so we've got 2 and then 4 days of playoffs?
2 spring, and then we have wild card.
Yeah.
And playoff round 1.
Yeah.
Playoff round 2, and then finals.
That's true. And then we have the promotion tournament.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
So we will have that as well. And then we'll be going straight into summer, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we go into I don't know if start dates have actually. I know that there was the rumored start date, right? It was at the end of May or something. Summer was supposed to actually start up really fast, but I don't know if that's still confirmed.
Yeah, not entirely sure what that is going to be. Nor do we have word on what's happening with MSI either, so we're pretty useless when it comes to all of the extra information. What I'm hoping for, LS, is that we have Ejim in time for summer. That's what I want. I want him to be able to escape the country. He's that guy that's trapped in Australia.
Yeah,
dude.
I haven't heard of him, since...
yeah, well, I mean...
Honestly, a bit of a rough time.
Is he a myth?
He might actually just be a myth. Maybe eGym stands for, like, online gym. It was all just a ploy.
And I know they're all shut. Like, let's be real. You can't go to the gym. Not here in Korea until the 21st of April. And then gyms come back online again. That's how it's working. So, online gym. Oh, my goodness. I hope he can turn up. We'll do our very best. We're still, like... I'm like always looking for updates. I'm like, what's the Egypt updates? Like, there's no flights ever. You can't get him out of the damn country. Ah!
That is, and it feels like we are in a massive bubble here in Korea because life is real. I mean, I stay inside pretty much all the time. Okay, the sun is a natural enemy, but whenever I do venture out into IRL. There does seem to be a lot of NPCs out and about, and it's almost like nothing is really being affected here. I mean, everyone does have masks on, but
I mean, everyone had masks on anyway a lot of the time because of the fine dust in the air and the pollution.
The server
and stuff.
pop is just it's booming, it's flourishing.
It's insane. And have you experienced the ping? It's extraordinary. It's like it's 0 or something. It's insane. I can't believe IRL is like a crazy game, dude. I don't understand how like, and all of the mechanics, like the engine must be like just unbelievable as far as like how well it runs. It's like it's fully like the physics engine, just nuts.
It really is.
Yeah, fall on your knees and it hurts. It's just crazy. We are going to resume very soon. I want to continue this conversation about IRL though. I recently bought a new pair of rollerblades.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, the game
I'm really excited to. Yeah. Oh, dang it! We were having a Pog State moment.
We were having a Pog State moment. Unfortunately, this is not Forbidden Love. You might have heard of that one.
Yeah, I did hear of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't talk about it. It's forbidden.
You were definitely taking it away a lot. There was a lot of taking it away. You guys were saying take it away so much. You even started telling me to take it away, and I wasn't even on the broadcast. It was too much taking it away.
You were in the chat.
I was in the chat, and I also said in our Discord chat that I can possibly come in and take it away if you need me to, because I was getting too triggered. I was not required in the end, though. Thankfully, you and BV did a great job. Good old Bronze 5, just really smashing the commentary these days.
Yeah.
As he's also been doing some social distancing, and the best thing you can do there is to buy a cat, and that's what he did. Nailed it. Hopefully you guys have checked out Charlie's Twitter. It is adorable. His cat Charlie is very, very cute. As we are going to check out the game state just for a little bit. It's about 2,000 gold the lead here for Hanwha, but they are still on Soul Point. That is going to be very important for them moving further forward into this game. Genji want to do everything that they can to try and deny that Dragon Soul. And 1 minute Hanwha Life, you can see, just coming off a reset, as Cuvee will find some damage here on to Cleared. And this Kayle is getting scarier and scarier.
Yeah, she's currently level 14, so not at the 16 mark just yet. But you can see also, Ornn is so close to level 14. Think if he comes into mid and absorbs some of the XP, he'll ding 14 and then give Molt an edge over to Ruler in this team fight. And all things considered, the ornaments plus Molt and Ed, no, he's not actually going to be able to get it. I think that he is quite literally 1 minion away. And the fact that they're not prioritizing this, they didn't wait to eat the minion wave in order just to give that to him is so surprising, because it would have cost nothing.
Very weird. We're looking for some poke, though. As you can see, the AoE damage out of this Kayle is really starting to hurt. As Make It Rain comes down, Hanwha Life a little bit split, as we've got 6 seconds until this Drake is going to spawn. Life just looking for any vision.
Flip? Oh,
they may potentially do so. They're going to start this one off already as Lavarin over to the side. They do find out Life, who does get over the wall here with the grand entrance, but the Chains of Corruption will land. Cleared, looking to pick it up, and he does so as the Rek'Sai is taken down. Now it's a 4v5 as somehow Gen.G finding the team fight they're looking for. A disengage ultimate, but the Unbreakable is fantastic as now Lava dives on in. Sacrifices most of his health bar there as Gen.G looking for the paddle stars. Life needs to get out as Rascal is not going to be so lucky. And Cleared has been able to flash away. Yeah, the Cataclysm is the baby cage that they're all put inside as Lehends. His value has been unspeakable this game so far. Teleport to come back in here from Life. And now it's going to continue to be this 4v4 with 26 seconds on the clock before Rascal can teleport right back in.
Yep. And so they are just, yeah, we're gonna take it away. We're gonna go back, and now Varus is gonna be busy shoving in mid lane, and that was a really close call, because if Rek'Sai, there is a world where Hanwha Life just win the game right here. They go for the 50-50. Clid does manage to win the smite fight on the dragon. 456, I believe, was the number. And the Braum ultimate coming out. So Ornhorn was called. He tries to cast it, actually, I believe, late into his animation to try to hope that the Braum shield would dissipate. BDD gets body blocked, and Lehend's doing such a fantastic job in this team fight, blocking Zoe's damage. Arrow goes wide and whiffs. Lehend's blocking yet another paddle star. Oh?
Yeah, Ruler in trouble. Does cleanse, gets himself out of the way, didn't have the flash available immediately. Going to go home as BDD is taking down the blue buff. Hanwha Life, not a lot to get on this map right now, so not able to capitalize on the health trade. And we'll move on out of here. You can see Ruler is behind by about 20 CS right now. And Vista's had a pretty good game so far. Rageblade is so close to being completed, though, and from that point on, Cuvee can build pseudo-defensive items and still be the raid boss of damage that he's going to be capable of. This game is getting scary, but the ornaments are starting to come in. 14 now gathered by the Ornn, and he's towards the bottom side, and you can see a few pings coming out as the Molten Edge is going to be built. I believe, yeah, there it is, and donated over to Misfortune.
And Rascal, I think he's almost level 15 as well, so able to upgrade the Luden's Pulse as well for the Zoe soon, and even an ornament is actually present on Life. Not one of the most impactful ones, but it is one nonetheless.
Yep, not bad. And, you know, you just want to have anything that can be augmented at this point in time, especially when you're trailing in gold by about 3,000 as Vista. Going to be put into the Cataclysm. A whole lot of R buttons are pressed, and Vista presses an F and gets out. Or a D. That's a D.
Still is successful, though. They did get the flash out of the Varus, and as I look at the items, I am reminded that we are back in Korea. The Ornn is building a Stoneblade, so...
Well, Ori has a stopwatch, and he's building a Warmogs.
But he had the Kindle Gem, and then he bought the stopwatch.
Yeah,
so
but maybe they're thinking about another team fight where the stopwatch will be necessary.
That could be
the
it,
stopwatch is a pretty good item.
It is a really good item.
Our friend Brendan Valdez will tell you at any time of asking. He loves that item. It's his favorite item in the game, I think.
Ready.
He never stops talking about it.
Okay, you're not stopping talking about it.
I'm also a big fan.
Well, at this point, Zoe sitting on the Blasting Wand and now an Oblivion Orb, but I think just going with the Blasting Wand into Void Staff would be the most ideal because there is magic resistance on the side of Hanwha Life, and there's only going to be more getting picked up in the later stages, so Void Staff would just be a little bit more ideal, but perhaps BDD... Well, we'll have to see what his gold is actually at. I don't think he's going to recall before this Ocean Dragon fight. And this is going to be the same song and dance over and over and over. It's just going to be these fights. Cube is 16. There is the Negatron
full
cloak.
ascendancy has come in, and it's really scary. Yeah. Kale looking awesome with this particular skin once you get level 16, by the way. So, big fan. As now, we'll see whether Hanwha can find a team fight that they're looking for, or whether maybe, just maybe, Gen.G can find a way out. But this is looking really, really dicey. Clid gonna have to break the chains with his flag and drag. And now, with 15 seconds to go, Hanwha take the inside track here, move towards an inhibitor turret, as there are so many pings coming on down, and all of the vision is available here for Hanwha Life.
And it looks like, all right, so this could be a really big throw, but if Hanwha Life win, they win the game.
Yeah.
So
some damage, but bubble goes wide.
What?
And now we're just going to move towards Nexus turrets. There's the Ornhorn. Lahen's Unbreakable is going to be there. Good knockup, but it only lands onto one. And the ultimate was there from the Kale. Misfortune doing the damage, though, as there goes the Rakan, but not exactly the most pivotal member. Is now Ruler going to be calling for yet another Penta. Cubic going down low is going to be taken out. As now Haru will fall. It's a triple kill. And Lahen's goes down as well. BDD completes the ace, and that's going to be the Baron going over to Genji.
So they end up raising one of the Nexus turrets. They get the mid-tier 3 turret and inhibitor to boot, and the super minions can actually threaten to end the game from mid now, given that there is only one Nexus turret. But now, Genji, they're going to get the Baron. However, this is Ocean Soul, and there's 15 seconds remaining on the death timers. I don't know if they can barrel over to the Dragon, but we're going to have one more song and a dance. This team fight was also so favored for Gen.G because Hanwha Life are very disjointed. You can see Lava tries to go in for an assassination onto Ruler, not able to do it. Cube trying to deal as much damage as he possibly can on the Kale. He's auto-attacking minions, man. It's so many different points. He's doing it again! So, mechanical champions are... take it away, Alice.
Yep, okay. I'll do what I can. That was a little bit of a whoopsie there, as the Kale did not do the damage that she would have otherwise wanted to in that particular team fight. Now looking for a Zhonya's as item number 4. As Gen.G, they did manage to take down the Ocean Drake, so just checking in on what you were talking about there. Once again, some denial of the Ocean Soul. And as these Oceans keep piling on in for Gen.G, they are moving themselves towards an Ocean Soul possibility with a 4-stack of Ocean Drakes, which is absolutely what you want. Like, that's the dream right there.
Yep.
Especially if you're this composition with BDD on the Zoe, because you can just throw bubbles with reckless abandon, and even if you get poked, you're not going to be out of trouble, as Vista just ints straight up into the enemy team. Lahen's going to be following him there as the Ornhorn comes down, and he's going to be taken out as well. No Unbreakable available, as that was used earlier on. And Hanwha Life have fallen apart.
Yeah, they are definitely falling by the wayside right now. They seem very unaware of how to thread the needle in this game. And that decision in mid lane, it's a valiant effort that maybe if their mechanics are more on point, they can actually win the team fight inside of the base and then ultimately win the game. But when you're staring at a Ocean Soul, it doesn't make any sense not to willingly dance for it and then really try to go for the steal. Even if it means putting a Kale ultimate onto Rek'Sai and sending Haru to his demise.
Yeah, this is very strange. And as you can see, now everyone has respawned. Vista and Lahen's making their way
Lava,
out.
you do not have the damage.
And he's spotted, but is going to move on out. 3 minutes until Ocean Soul once again available for Hanwha Life. As Clid is right in there, but maybe a little bit too soon. Good double knockup comes down, but the ultimate is available. Lava has to dive on in, but it's not exactly what he wants right now. Stoneplate utilized there by Rascal, as he did, in fact, opt in on that item. And it is going to be Haru falling down. The only death are the junglers on either side of the rift. And therefore, it is going to be a wash.
Did end up getting another summoner spell, though, out of the Varus. Flash yet again consumed, and let's take a look at how this all transpired. So you can just see Clid waiting in the wings for Vista, and then Lehens trying his best to get away. He also flashed away, and then the Braum shield not still there for the second part of the Ornar. We take a look at this, Clid. He's had some very Leroy plays this time around. He goes in for the EQ, the Cataclysm onto the Kayle, but no one there able to follow up in terms of damage. And you can see that Ruler and BDD just not able to follow up getting onto the Kayle, and so Cube with a lot of free deal inside of that team fight. But again, they did get the flash out of the Varus. Lehen's not going to have flash available either. Ruler and BDD almost have theirs up. Life as well. Same with Clid even. So Summoners could easily be in their advantage come the next Ocean Dragon, and that's going to be really crucial. More ornaments have been completed, and it's really perplexing that Clid, with a lot of magic damage on his team, did not just go for an Abyssal Mask as well.
Yeah,
it's a really nice upgrade. He got the Adaptive Helm,
which is good against Cube. It is good against the magic damage coming out from the auto attacks of the Kayle. Of course, works if you've got someone that's spamming something. Cassiopeia, the best example. However, I just think that having the upgradable item is probably a better choice there. And you can't upgrade a Randuin's either. So, a bit of a yikes. That's okay. Ocean Drake going to be available in 50 seconds. No recalls to come in. Actually, no. Ruler did go back, picked up a more of Malmortius, actually. Yep. So his teamfight capabilities are going to be absolutely insane right now as Bubble. Not going to find any targets here, as Lehens takes a little bit of poke from a Paddle Star, but he's pretty tanky at this point. There's Zeke's Herald, as well as a cheeky little Kindle Gem. Also sitting on a stopwatch of his own. Stopwatch count. There is one on Lava, and there is one on Lehens as well. Otherwise, not too many. Rascal has one as well as his Gargoyle Stoneplate, so he'll be able to tank for a really long time.
If Genji forced the issue, if Clid goes in with an engage again, it would be a super big mistake. They just need to let Zoe do Okay, well, I guess that's
a bullet time. All right, yeah, Cube almost just dying straight up as Lehens doesn't have the door. He's going to be knocked up as the bubble is going to go wide. Cube ults and gets no value. As now Hanwha trying to get back in there. Oh, Lava was interrupted. As now Cube able to flash, uses the Cataclysm against Gen.G. As now Ruler diving on forward. He looks for Cube, but he can't get him. Cube's now able to auto attack in this backline as BDD is running as fast as his little legs will carry him. And only one to die on the side of Hanwha Life. This might be the turn that they were looking for as Lava goes back to his distortion. And that is a very dead Ornn up on the top side of the map. And it's only BDD to try and save this game for Gen.G.
Yeah, and you can see the teleport going down into bottom. That's going to be the Ocean Soul picked up by Hanwha Life, and that is disastrous right now. MF, or Ruler, needs to sell the Control Ward, pick up an Executioner's Calling. They need Grievous Wounds, and yet again, we talked about it. So they landed the bubble onto Cube. Enormous amounts of damage comes out, but then Clid actually waits too long for his hero engage. The bubble ends up whiffing, and then take a look at this. You can hear the Leroy sound clip in your mind as he goes forward, drags Life to his death, and then no one can get on to Cube. Haru
Ruler couldn't get into the brush.
Yeah, Ruler tried to get in. Haru interrupted with the knock-up cleanse. No good. And then, as you were mentioning, it is BDD versus the world. So now this game got very interesting because it should have been a very easy win for Gen.G, but the impatience just ruining them.
Well, we're not going to find the Ram, but decent amount of damage does still come in. Speaking of Leroy's grand entrance, not going to work out there as BDD is going to go golden. The Ornn does fall, and Lava survives. That was absolutely not what you wanted out of your top laner there. Gen.G not really quite finding the engagement that they were looking for.
Well, that's going to be Baron going over to Hanwha Life. They have the Soul as well. It is so impossible to lose at this point in the game. It would really take a miracle of some sorts to end up losing at this point, as Ruler did pick up the Executioner's Calling, and I don't know what is with Gen.G. They keep doing this over and over and over. Now, even if Warren shoots out his ult there, it's not going to change the face of this team fight whatsoever. Lava not able to die, and Ocean Soul is it's something. Death Cap almost completed by BDD, but what a unfortunate series of events here in this game number 2.
Yeah, this is certainly some ping pong, and not in the way that we're used to here in the LCK. As it's not over yet, I guess, but it certainly feels very close to. As there is only one Nexus turret remaining, remember guys, and the inhibitor in the mid lane is exposed. Hanwha Life just need to get Cuvée somewhere near the Nexus, and it's going to die in about 4 auto attacks. He is very, very strong. Void Staff done, and looking for a Rabbidan's Death Cap himself. This Kayle is going to be doing obscene amounts of damage.
Well, see if there's any possible way, as Ruler just leashing the Raptor camp for BDD, trying to get him to the Death Cap. You see the pings by Hanwha Life onto the mid inhibitor, and I don't know how Gen.G is supposed to be able to win at this point. Maybe a Zoe bubble deleting a champion before they're able to get any sort of healing off. And honestly, I mean, Vista is being really greedy here with his itemization.
Yep. He doesn't have any sort of defensive item here at all, but Gen.G still having to defend. And the thing is, if Vista goes down, he's not the main damage carry. As ulti comes down towards BDD, they want to try and take him out here as the inhibitor will be going down. Now Gen.G need to stand vigil around their one remaining Nexus turret. Trying their very best to deal with these minions as now BDD makes his way back off the fountain. I think Death Cap has just been completed. As Trouble Bubble lands onto Vista, takes a fair bit of damage. That's a great grand entrance to come forward, plus the bullet time doing some work, but the Ocean Soul is disgusting. Vista eventually falls down, but Cuvée is still alive, and that's what you have to remember. Hanwha Life will now push forward 4 strong and take down this Nexus turret so quickly, as the Kayle does fall low, but Lehens is going to block him out once again. And now Ruler looking to try and defend here underneath his Nexus. No safety available, but you can see Hanwha really treading some hot water right now as the bubble is going to land. Oh my god, the Kayle is going to fall down. BDD trying to get enough damage here, but the Misfortune is going to fall down, and BDD is not going to be able to get the rest of the members of Hanwha, and they will even out the series.
Well, Gen.G completely managed to throw that into Hanwha Life's victory in front of that Baron, where they couldn't end up getting the kill, and this game leaves me a little bit speechless, Alice. For everything that was going good in game number 1, this had a lot of back and forths. No, you win. No, you win. No, you win. Take it away, Alice.
This was like game number 2 of our first series.
Yeah,
to be perfectly honest,
actually,
it's the team that's much
cursed.
better, just deciding that they didn't really want to win this game. No. That's not what they're about. And now, you've got Hanwha Life able to really fight for their spot. In the LCK, of course, promotion tournament is what we're talking about here. And if Hanwha Life win, they get towards the safety zone, as I think it'll be 6 wins available for them. If they pick up one here, which will get them away from Griffin by 2 matches. And it'll all come down to what Sandbox is able to do in their next matches. Really puts pressure onto those guys. And if we have a look at the standings, Hanwha Life sitting at 5-11 right now. Sandbox are on 5-12. And so any sort of win just feels fantastic here if you're a Hanwha fan. Griffin, well and truly in the bottom of the rankings right now. It's impossible, I believe, for Griffin to get towards 6 wins. So 6 does keep Hanwha away, and then they'll be making sure that Sandbox aren't going to be successful in their next match, which I believe is up against Damwon Gaming. So going to be a difficult match for Sandbox, and Damwon are going to be hungry to keep themselves in playoff contention as well, because remember, Afrika are hot on their heels. I don't think Afrika are actually capable of knocking them down though, so maybe Damwon with not as much to play for in their Sandbox series, as KT are currently 2 matches ahead. But still, a lot of implications here for Hanwha Life if they can make themselves worthy of taking down Gen.G in game number 3.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they have in store for that game. They managed to eventually pull a rabbit out of their hat in this game, and Genji probably are just going to tighten up in game 3. I can't imagine those kind of engages and approach to teamfights really carrying over into the next series, because I don't think that it's a super tilty kind of loss by any means.
I think it was a game. It was a game. I don't want to think about it very much, to be perfectly honest. It was not exactly the prettiest of video games, and we'll just have to see who's going to be able to take it in the next one, because that is where it all comes down to, as now we have one more deciding match in this best of 3 to see who is going to reign supreme, whether it be Hanwha Life or Gen.G. As we have a look at some of the highlights here, Cube getting dove on the bottom side, but honestly, the Kale did as much work as she possibly could in the early game and was then Kale in the late game.
Yeah. She ended up being Kale in the late game, but I gave the POG over to Lehens, who was too integral to so many things that happened in this game. And blocking so many of the paddle stars and just engage attempts on the side of Genji that, I don't know, I felt like he really earned it and hit a phenomenal performance. So, see if we can manage to keep that up in game number 3. I see a world where Cube ends up getting POG as well. And,
yeah, but after seeing that fight, I think it goes to Lehens.
Yeah, I hope that we're the same game.
Yeah, well, I think we know where Jonah Strong's goal went.
들어가자. 억제 뚫어버려 그냥. 얘네 만약에 용 치면 그냥 게임 끝낼 생각해도 돼. 아니면 용으로 돌고. 둘 중 하나 하자. 아직 10초가 들어가도 돼. 야 이거 싸움 진영 가져. 진영 가져. 진영 갇혀. 나랑 떨어져 있어. 걔. 야 뚫을 생각하자 이거. 들어봐. 오케이. 해볼래 이거? 천천히 봐야 되는데. 타부터. 야 들어봐. 들어간다 얘들아 천천히. 나 죽었거든? 리퍼 마피. 봐줄래 이거? 자르반 노플. 리퍼 들어가겠어. 리퍼 노플. 리퍼 노플. 아비. 자르반 노플 리퍼 노플.
Did you hear anything that was interesting?
Well, no, I was sort of letting it happen.
Over you?
I was just sort of letting the collective, because they are fluent in all languages known to the human species. So,
and some others.
Yeah, and some others. I mean, I mean, it's just sort of a thing. This was the Leroy Jenkins engage by Clid, as none of his teammates really able to follow up. And honestly, the interaction right there on Haru is also just so bizarre, because Cube could have gone down if not for that knockup onto MF, and that'll change the entire face of this team fight.
Not to mention, if Ruler had have actually flashed into the brush. He didn't make it into the brush.
Yeah, that as well. This engage was... this one did look very tilty. Rascal teleports in behind. There's no way for his teammates to follow up. Ends up whiffing the second activation of his ult. This what should have been a really good... just nerf Ocean Soul, man. It's honestly repulsive.
Yeah.
It's not even funny to look at. Mountain Dragon, it still feels like you can beat it. Infernal still feels like you can beat it, especially if you get on top of the opponent. Soul, not only does it make it so they can get on top of you and smack you, it also feels like even if you get on top of them, they're just bailed out.
Yeah, that's true. Ooh, maybe Lava deserves player of the game.
괜찮아 천천히 야 타워치다
I'm happy with Lehens.
리퍼 아직 노플이야. 천천히. 방패 몇 초? 방패 있어. 살짝 가져. 오케이. 방패 받으면
리퍼 풀은 몇 초야?
리퍼 아직 없어. 천천히.
얘들아 야 조용히 해봐. 나 방패 4초야. 좀만 기다려봐.
천천히.
야 이거 미니언 나오면 바다용으로 피업해도 돼. 방패 있거든 나.
바다용으로 피업해.
방패 있어 성준이 형 나.
야 쳐봐 쳐봐.
아 미포 먼저. 야 이거 미포 잡았어. 야 끝내.
할 수 있어?
나이스! 다행이다. 야 다음 판.
Well, that was pretty loud. I hope you guys had your speakers not turned up too high. As we have a look at the damage numbers, certainly a lot coming out of the Kale, but was given a pretty good ride towards the late game. And honestly, it was a weird game. It's really hard to put that game in context, to be perfectly honest. As we had so many weird errors coming through from players like Clid, who are normally so incredibly consistent. And even BDD not really finding the Zoe game that he was looking for there. So looking to the draft for game number 3 to see who's going to be able to take it. But before that, we are going to have a short break. So we'll see you back in about 5 minutes.